Oh, hey YouTube. Well, today we're coming to you from Hatatiki. I just released a video about flying with all the new software that's available, such as SkySight, PureTrack, WeGlide, CoPilot and WeGlide. And I had a lot of comments of people saying, you know, you really should be looking out the window, not playing around with software, which is very true. Now, I have a few thoughts. First of all, how many screens should you have in the cockpit? And a lot of people, you know, if they see someone with 2 or 3 screens in the cockpit, say, that's ridiculous, you know, you should be looking out the window. But I would argue, the more screens you have, the more information you can have displayed without having to fumble through and try and find the information you're looking for. You can leave it on the screen and not have to mess around with it while you're actually trying to fly. And so I think you need as many screens as you can that makes it easy to see the information you need. If you're just going for a casual flight, 1 screen of information is probably all you need. If you're racing in a contest, you probably need more information, so you need more screens. Or the alternative on an LX9000, for example, or an XC nav computer, you could have a control stick, and that lets you very quickly and easily flick between the different screens. That's a great option, and I highly recommend buying one of them because it reduces your fumbling around, trying to mess around with controls on the screens while you're trying to fly. I actually have found that when I spend too much time looking at how other people fly and where they're flying on tracking software, for example, like PureTrack, I mean, it's great. You can see exactly where everyone is. But the reality is, to fly well, you have to be looking out the window and figuring out where you've got to go. And no looking at screens will really help with that. It might give you a clue occasionally. For example, if you're new to an area and you don't know where the best places to climb are, and if you can see where other people are climbing, that's useful information. But it's hard to act on it because you're not normally right next to them or close to them. By the time you get to where they are, the thermals have gone. We've added the thermal feature to PureTrack recently, so you can see where people are climbing easier than ever. But looking outside at the clouds, they are a much better thermal indicator than anything else. If you're flying in blue conditions, I can imagine the thermal climb indicators could be very useful. I see a lot of newer students spending too much time looking at their devices and looking at their instruments in general. When I'm approaching thermals, for example, I'm looking up. I'm looking up at the cloud I'm about to reach. I'm figuring out which is the best part of cloud to get under. That is your focus. What's out the window? And then after this cloud, I'm looking ahead at the next clouds, figuring out which is the best bit of the next cloud to go to, and is it forming or dissipating? Will it be there when I finish this thermal? Where's my next step? So you don't want to be looking at your screens. You want to get to the point where you don't have to look at your instruments. This is why we have Varios that beep. Instruments are great to glance at. You want to look at them briefly, quickly, and get your eyes back outside so you can look at the weather and for other traffic. The more screens you've got, the quicker it is to glance at information and not have to fumble around looking for stuff or changing settings or reconfiguring things. That's another great point. It's really good to pre-configure your devices on the ground so you're not messing around trying to configure them while you're flying. And I spend too much time doing that myself. It's really hard. It's not easy to do because half the functions don't work until you're flying. So in a contest, if I've got to do something like reprogram my task or muck around, I'll fly away from all the other competitors, find an empty bit of airspace without any other people, try and keep good situational awareness. This is where PureTrack's useful. You can have a quick glance at PureTrack and see where everyone is and know if you're alone or not. And of course, you've still got to keep your eyes peeled out the window. So you want to spend as little time looking down as possible and minimize the risk. You don't want to be in a gaggle messing around with flight computers, for example. You've got to get out, be alone, and be away from anyone else. What do you think of my tropical island? Quite nice, isn't it? I can even get internet out here. It's great. So there we go. I hope that's useful. Something to think about. Make sure you're not looking at your instruments too much. Focus on what the weather's doing outside, because that's the only thing going to keep you in the sky. All the other information is useful at times, occasionally, and have it quick and easy to access if you need it. Make sure you've got everything mounted on good mounts, so you're not fumbling with mounting things or things falling off in the cockpit. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope that's useful. We'll catch you next time. I better get back to it.